Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of work to the Stihl FS56RC. It seems to be having a problem when you hold the bar full out. It takes a second to spool up and doesn't quite have the power. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean the spark arrestor. So on this particular model, you'll have 3 torque screws. You have to verify size, but I had one in a kit. Now, I didn't have the actual Stihl tool, so I literally threw the bit driver onto an extended socket with the bit in, and that allowed me to get in and loosen these up. So once you get them all loose, you want to separate the cartridge, or sorry, the case, like so. Now, spark arrestor on this model is going to be on the exhaust side. Let's see if I can get you show this a little better here. So you got your muffler here, and this little screw holds the spark arrestor. So it's basically just a screen. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that pulled out. You'll just need a little flathead screwdriver. Take this one. This should be done more often. Now I've had this unit almost a year and I have not done this yet. So I figure it's time. So once you get the screw removed, got a pair of needle nose. We'll pull that out. Hard to get a hold of, but there it is. So it may be hard to see, but that should be a clear screen, and as you can tell, it is pretty caked. So a couple different ways you can clean this up. They do recommend using a torch to burn up the carbon. I do have a torch in the shed. I just have to go dig it out. So we'll pause this, we'll come back, and we'll show you how to torch it out. Alright, now once you find your torch, which I had to dig mine out, now I placed the spark arrestor in a vise just so you're not handling it, because it will be extra hot. You could probably do it with pliers, but that way you don't have to hang on to it. So the idea is we're going to want to heat this up till it burns all that carbon away. Now we don't want to light it on fire. Well, we just want to burn off all that excess carbon, and that'll help the Stihl 2-stroke engine burn fuel properly. Actually amazing, once this gets heated up to a certain temperature, you can actually see the carbon burn away exactly where you're pointing your torch. So that is piping hot, but I can already see completely through that screen. While I'm at it, just going to make sure the center's all good and clear. And that's all it took. Maybe a minute with the torch, clean that right up. So obviously, be extra careful not to grab a hold of that, because that is very, very hot. My other pliers are in the trailer, but I'll pull it out with this and I'll show you how clean that turned out. I'll try to. I don't know if you can see, but I can see right through that screen now. So that looks pretty good. I'm just going to take a wire brush to it real quick, and we'll get to reinstalling it. Okay, so we're back in the mobile shop. We have our very clean spark resistor, or arrestor, sorry. So we're just going to go back and reinstall. So on your muffler, slip that back in. Now you'll have your tiny flathead screw, which will secure that arrestor in place. Doesn't have to be super tight, but just snug. The idea is just to hold that arrestor down. Yeah, once that's all good, I'll go ahead and we'll get this cover reinstalled. Okay, so what I learned reinstalling, just make sure that your pull cord is not binding and it's hooked up to the crank properly. I just had to undo it, reposition it, seat it, and now it's got connection with it. Now I just started with the bottom bolt screw, and we'll work our way around, make sure it's good and tight. Again, doesn't have to be over tight, just snugged up. There's that one. And I feel like anybody could really do this. According to the manual, it should be done every year, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But when I did notice a decrease in performance, I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. So let's primer up. And try her out. And that, my friends, is how you clean your spark arrestor on your Stihl trimmer. Hopefully this helped somebody out. Yeah, so if you like this, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and if you have any comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.